I'm probably stuck here now. I ain't going back to Michigan, boys. You got to find one person that you trust and respect and stick with it. Like, if they're telling you to do something, do it. He's like, you Promod Todd? And I was like, how long are you standing out here, dude? I'm traveling to the racetrack, and I'm excited to finally get there. And I walk up to the starting line, and there's like the smell of a burnout and the smell of the fuel. It's like, today's gonna be a good day. I'm making an official call out. Yeah. Ben Stricker and Rob Mounts. You guys can get it from any of the Tin Soldier boys on the go-kart track.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to our podcast. This is three boys and a chihuahua. We felt like it was important that Trelly got to hang out for this. If you guys don't know, this is Todd. We affectionately call him Promod Todd. Yeah, I don't even know how you got that nickname.
It's because when we were doing Jeff's C3, I don't know. I think it just kind of looked like a Promod the way that like the back bars came down, and so I think that's why Brad started calling me that. It's
really stuck. So Todd, it's Todd's 1 year anniversary, basically. Not today, but like this week. It was was his
Sunday.
So all the other boys, besides Jay Bird, because he won't do it, have got an employee highlight. Rick doesn't really have an employee highlight either, though. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't. But anyway, so we felt like it was a great time to do just a podcast with you, how you got here, all that good stuff. Yeah. So what Todd started as a customer. I think that's a great thing to acknowledge. He called and he wanted to order a leaf spring housing, a leaf spring kit, and all this stuff. And then it's kind of like, you know, when you step in some gum and you just can't get rid of it.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
No, it was awesome. He ordered that, and then he had never built a chassis before. So he has a Nova, which I'm sure we'll get into, but he was building that car, and he had a lot of questions. So, I mean, I think for a little bit, I talked to you like almost every week.
Yeah, we messaged quite a bit. I joke with you now. It's like, you know, at the beginning, I was just this annoying kid, but you gave me guidance and kind of began to shape me into like the knowledge that I have now. So you didn't know it at the time, but you were training me.
Yeah, it worked out all right. But I did. I always like talking to you. When you would call, you'd always be so polite, and you know, I could tell that you really respected us a lot as car builders. And yeah, anything I said, or you know, I would look at your page and I'm like, oh wow, he did that exactly like we would do it, and like your car. You did a phenomenal job, by the way. I mean, I guess that was your job interview that you didn't know that you were having.
It's funny. It really was a resume.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think, you know, we can kind of get into that in a minute. But, like, what got you into cars? Like, why do you like drag racing?
Well, like, I was really, like, Marv. Marv's always been.
Marv is Todd's dad.
Yeah, Marv's my dad. And he's always had cars and stuff, and then I kind of like strayed away from it when I was in middle school and early high school. I was into sports. I think he was a little bit worried there.
Yeah, I'm disappointed with him.
but he reeled me back in, and I remember like I had my temporary driver's license before I turned 16, and I thought it was so cool that like I got to drive his '63 Nova. So that's why I've always like been a Chevy 2 guy, is because that was like the first cool car that I got to drive. But yeah, I don't know. I remember watching like videos of like, you know, like Matt Happel and like the sloppy Fairmont and stuff, and like they're just out on street roads, like, I don't know, taking crappy turbo LS stuff and, you know, going fast with it. So that's kind of like what reeled me back in. And then after a while, you start seeing like more and more quality builds, and I really was getting into fabrication at that point, and so I just kind of collaborated the two. I was doing a lot of different stuff for local guys out of my garage and learning a little bit more every time. My buddy Tim's had me do like 4 or 5 turbo kits on his car. I've done front half, back halves. Like I learned a lot on his car.
Yeah.
And then obviously it led into me working a little bit on Kenny Dangler's car, and that's I do need to thank him. He's part of the reason I am here
Yeah,
today.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Well, I think a lot of people, if you're watching this, a question that we get all the time, just email, message, like you're a younger person and you're wanting to get into the fabrication world, or you're wanting to get into building race cars, and a lot of people would want to go to a shop like ours and kind of like intern or whatever. Well, that's really not like, sometimes that can work out, but really the best thing is to do like what you did, and you just start figuring it out on your own. You buy a little bit of tools, you keep figuring it out. Like Brad and I joke all the time, but you can build a whole car with a 4-inch angle grinder if you had to.
Yeah, my dad's always said that to me.
that and a welder. I mean, you can build a whole car, and like my story, Brad's story, your story, a lot of the boys' story is real similar. It's like, you just started doing it on your own, and you progressively got better. And then by the time like, a place like us, would notice you already have quite a bit of skill to offer because you've learned it on your own.
Yeah. Now my dad is like pretty core on that story, because I worked with my dad before here for 5 years, and he kind of got the fabrication ball rolling. And then like when it got into tube bending and roll cage work and stuff, notching tubes and all that type of stuff, I kind of had to figure it out on my own. He had other projects that he was working on, so I kind of just learned it on my own, bought a bunch of decent tools for a guy in his garage, and just trial and error is really what it was. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I watched a lot of your guys' Instagram page. And one of the things that you told me back then was like, there's so many people out there that want advice from everybody. They like need everybody's approval. And you were like, you got to find one person that you trust and respect and stick with it. Like if they're telling you to do something, do it. And I had a lot of respect for you guys. So that's kind of, I followed the way that you guys did things because I thought it was such good work.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Now you have such an interesting perspective of just this whole thing in general, because you started as a customer, now you're behind the curtain, and like I don't know, I think it's really cool. And so us, like I kind of started watching, like once Todd bought a bunch of parts from us, I just followed him on Instagram, and then I just kept watching him progress. And like he was from Michigan, so that's the hard thing with this industry. You do, like, I follow actually a lot of like what I would call like up and coming fabricators, but you never think like it's tough, like you were in Michigan, we were in Kentucky, like, man, that's a far gap, right? Yeah. So you see like a lot of times, chassis shops or places that do fab work, they feel like they can't get help. But if you look nationwide, there's a lot of people that that you could. But again, back to that gap, it's really tough. So I never thought that we would have a Todd, right?
No, I didn't either. I truthfully thought that I'd probably stay in my hometown forever. My whole family lives up there. We got like 80 acres, and the whole family's on that plot of land. Yeah, I didn't really think that I'd ever leave, but it felt right, and I knew it was an opportunity. At the beginning, I promised myself, it's like I'm gonna stick it out for at least 1 year, even if I hate it, because I know that what I'll learn is gonna be worth so much. Yeah. But
so when are you leaving?
I'm in Kentucky to stay, but
yeah. So
got 859 tattooed on my chest.
That's the reveal for this video. Show Marv. Your parents are gonna be so disappointed.
Dude, I love your dad too. I love your whole family. They're awesome. They're and that's cool. Like we've gotten to know them so much, which is rad. But kind of the way we got you is really funny. Is if you guys know who Kenny Dangler is, Kenny has now he has a super fast third gen. Yeah. That you did a lot of work on with him.
Just a little bit of like the back half and some of the cage tubes. Nothing crazy. He really did all that. Yeah, like on his own. That's one thing like you got to respect about Kenny is he does it on his own. Yeah, everything.
No, he did a fantastic job, and we had met Kenny at a race, and Brad always thought Kenny was hilarious. I did too, and I love following him, just his antics and stuff. And we kind of talked at one race, and then he called and needed a rear end, 4-link, all that stuff, and we got that taken care of for him because we wanted to work with him, and sent all that to him. And then I guess you came in to help weld up some of that stuff. Yeah. And so Kenny sends me a message because Kenny's super outspoken. So if you know nothing about Kenny Dangler, know this. Like, he will tell you exactly what he thinks, and he's very like he's just bubbly. I don't know how else to say
The
it.
filter's non-existent.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Yeah, whatever.
And it's usually really funny.
Yeah. So he sends me this message, and he's like, "Hey, this kid Todd's at my shop, and he's working on my car, and he will not stop talking about coming to work for you guys." And I was like, I still struggle with your last name, so Todd Leigeb. And
Do you want me to tell you how to actually say it?
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's like the E and the I are switched. Leigeb.
I like it the other way.
All right. Yeah. It's been, everybody said Leigeb my whole life. So
Leigeb.
Gib.
Leigeb.
There you go.
How could you got it, Rick?
I didn't even know your last name till just now. Leigeb.
You got it good.
My grandpa will be angry at me. I think it's German.
Yeah.
There's something.
That sounds pretty German.
There's something going on there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Leigeb. Yeah, that's German.
Yeah, it sounds like Hitler would say that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Give him that.
Man.
We're gonna have to cut this.
Yeah, you should drive a Volkswagen.
Big Volkswagen family.
It's funny. So, but Dangler messaged that, and I was like, man, and we were kind of in a spot where we've been transitioning from race cars for a while. Like we've probably made the conscious decision for 3+ years that we're really not going to concentrate on working on race cars. Now, if you're watching this, you're going to be like, well, there's still race cars in your shop. There are, because we do have like a lot of long-term customers, people that we have really good relationships with that, you know, those cars are great for advertising. They're just people that we want to take care of. Well, as the business grew, Brad and I we didn't have the time to work on the cars anymore. We had Jay was still working on them. So Jay was basically buried in stuff.
Yeah.
So we really needed someone to kind of come in and work alongside of Jay and be like a floater. Like if the car stuff was behind, they could help with that. Then if, the rear end stuff was behind, they could help with that. So that's kind of what I had in my mind of what we needed. And, just watching you, I'm like, I think this kid could check those boxes. So I don't know how. Did I message you?
No, I messaged you. I couldn't tell if you were serious or not because you're like, oh, and ironically, this is what happened. But you said, we got a huge shop that we're building, and there's a big lot out back, and you could come stay in a camper for a while. And so then I was like thinking about it the whole weekend. I was like, man, like he kind of apparently knows who I am. And so I think it was that following Monday I looked, and I knew you could only have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and you were at like 4,998. And I'm like, man, I got to get this in now. I got to do this now. And so I messaged you that night. You said you'd call me the next day, and you actually did. I thought it was going to be one of those deals where it's like you never hear again from the person, but you actually did reach out. And I had to sneak out of my other job to go sit in the work van and talk to you on the phone.
Yeah. So we chatted for a while, and like, man, Brad and I have learned a lot over the years, and like the thing that really matters the most, and this is going to sound backwards to a lot of people that are watching this, but talent is actually decently far down the list. Characters way up there, how they handle themselves way up there, and how they mix with the rest of the crew we have is way up there, right? So like those are, in my opinion, are more important than however good you are at a job, right? Because a lot of times if someone has gumption and has a lot of can do, you can teach them, right? So when we talked on the phone, I was like, if you're serious about this, you need to come down and hang out with us for a week. So that's what you did.
Yeah, I stayed with Brian.
Yeah, I didn't know Brian.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I was like, I guess I'm gonna stay in a house with a random man for a week, but it worked out.
And Brian was so excited. He cleaned his whole house and like.
Oh yeah, like we ended up doing part of the turbo kit on his Mustang after work that week, and I think he really liked having me there. But
so I have to ask, and I think it's a great time to do it. When you came. So you came there and you hung out with us for a week. Was it what you expected when you left Michigan to come there? Was it what you thought it would be?
Yeah, I mean everything went how I thought it would go. I knew that I would get along pretty well with everybody. I've always been pretty sociable. You guys were making me nervous about Jaybirds. You're like, if you don't pass Jaybirds test, like,
What's true though?
yeah, no, they're like, if you don't pass Jaybirds test, you're done. And I think him and I clicked pretty well. So, yeah, the one thing I did think, and it's cool now because we have this huge shop, but when I walked in, I was like, man, this shop is tiny, dude.
Yeah.
Like, to be a shop of your guys' level and be in such a small space, it's wild, man. Like, I remember Brian telling me the Sunday night before I worked that first Monday morning, it's like, you're going to be, like, underimpressed when you first walk in.
You're going to be underimpressed.
Because, like, people think, you know, you're a big name in the industry, that you're going to have the, like, biggest space and all the trickiest stuff. And it's like, I think that's what I really liked about you guys is, like, there's a lot of Harbor Freight stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the belt sander we use every day is was it Central Electric?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
Dude, that baby's been kicking for 7 years.
I love that thing. Like, wow, like, you know, it's nothing crazy, but we make do with what we have.
Yeah.
And
no, that was cool. It's so funny, man. We were at the old shop. It doesn't really happen here because this place is way different. But the old shop, man, people would come in and then they'd look around there. You could see it on their face, like, is this it?
yeah.
And but I love like that shop. Like when we rented that shop, it was just Brad and I. Actually, Jaybird didn't even work for us at the time. So Jay, when we rented the shop that you came to the first time, we had been there about a month when Jay came, and Jay worked actually part-time. And then, so like for the three of us, that shop was like, this is huge. And we only had one bathroom, which really became a problem towards the end. I mean, that was a big issue. So you came down, you liked it, right? And then...
Oh, yeah. It got to a point where I was like, I have to do this. And so, I don't know. Are we good to talk about the camper thing?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I asked somebody, and they were like, it's their property. They can't do anything about you.
Yeah.
So anyways, within a few weeks after coming down, you know, I bought a truck, and I bought a great big fifth wheel, and I was like, this is home now. So actually, I rent out my house back in Michigan. I got one of my best friends lives there, and I just kick it in the camper, and it's really not that bad.
It's a nice camper. You didn't buy a nice camper.
Yeah.
So he lives right behind the shop, so never come and mess with our place. We have 24-hour day security.
You see the dog?
Yeah, look at this dog.
See
man.
that Chihuahua?
Yeah, get you.
Yeah.
But so you came down for the week, and then you kind of came a couple more times and helped out with some stuff.
One more time. I think I came in February or maybe early March. And worked for a week just because you guys were kind of behind on a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
And then my final move down here date was actually March 24th. And I did it specifically so I could make the first Cincy Street Nights.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then during that process when Todd was coming on full time, we had actually already purchased this building, and we were, by the time Todd got here, we were hoping to be in here. And that did not at all go to plan. I mean, it took another...
Yeah.
You know, so he was actually living at this property before we were even here. For probably 4 or 5 months you lived here.
Oh, yeah. The raves I threw in this place when you guys weren't. We had disco balls. There was laser beams. I mean, I probably had 2,000-3,000 people in here, and you guys didn't even know it.
Yeah, it's like, well, it was funny because you moved it. Like, he brought his whole life. Like, so he brought his, you know what I mean, whole life? He brought his dirt bike. High importance.
Yeah.
His race car.
My toolbox.
His toolbox. Truck.
My Chihuahua.
Yeah, the Chihuahua.
Yeah, I wasn't leaving without Trelly.
So yeah, we got your car and all that stuff. Which, yeah, I mean, what a funny time. I'm so glad it all worked out. But
it sounded wild at the beginning. It's like, how is this gonna end up playing out? You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you really took a risk on me. Like, and I think it was pretty clear from the get go what my intentions were and my dedication because I was willing to move for it.
Well, I want you to know this. The risk on your part was a lot more than ours.
That's
You should know that. You know what I mean? Like,
you could have been like, no, pack your camper up, get out of here.
Yeah. You know, you suck, man. Get out of here. But no, I think we knew it was right. But I now, after getting to know you, and I've told you this before, but I want people to be encouraged by this. Is like, after getting to know you, what you did was a huge leap. Like you left, you left what you were really comfortable with, and all your family, your whole compound, all that stuff, and you jumped out, jump off a cliff basically into an unknown, like man, I'm going to move all the way to Kentucky and try this, and man, it's been awesome to be a part of it and watch you do it and grow as a person. Like it's cool, and I hope that if you're watching this and you want to do something different, like hearing Todd's story would help you,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was always so scared of change. Like, I lived in Midland for my entire life, and I just worked the same job before this one for 5 years, like did the same thing every day, and I didn't ever imagine that I would live anywhere, like I said, other than there. And I don't know, I just felt like I needed to do something and just kind of went for it, and it turned out really great. I don't know. I was really over my previous job, so it's like I don't know what I would have been doing if I didn't make that decision,
Yeah.
And like I made in that post earlier this week, it's like there's so many people that, I've looked up to for so many years outside of you guys, obviously. Like I get to meet them and talk to them, and like they know me by name. It's cool the opportunities that have been presented because of this, and not only that, but I'm a way better fabricator. I'm a way better welder. Like I have way more knowledge about something that I'm super passionate about because of this. And so it's like I appreciate the opportunity from you guys. It really meant a lot to me.
Yeah. Well, and you've taken that opportunity and you ran with it, and it's awesome. Like you really, you really fell in right with all the boys, right? Rick can attest to that. Like
for sure.
Like the vibe is everything, man.
Yeah.
If you don't have the vibe, like it ain't, and people are like, that sounds so corny, but it's like we set out to do our own thing. And if we run our own thing like the rest of the world and we all come to work and we're miserable, what did we accomplish? Money doesn't really, like it matters, but it's not like we have to make a living, and we all want to do that and we want to make a good living. But beyond that, like our environment matters so much. And like we see each other more than we see our family, especially for you. Right.
Yeah.
So
no, all I have, obviously I have a girlfriend. Her family's really accepted me into their group, but outside of them, it's like I really had nobody down here. It's like all my coworkers really were my family.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's funny how much time we all spend together.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's why it seems like when you said the other day that it's only been a year, I'm like, it feels like it's been, because it just clicked that easily, It's like, it feels like it's been longer.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Agreed. So you moved down, you got, you instantly clicked with us, and then not too much long after that, you found your little lady friend. Geez.
Yeah.
Really setting roots here.
Yeah, I'm probably stuck here now. I ain't going back to Michigan, boys.
Yeah, he can blame the race cars, but it's really the lady friend.
It's the lady friend's dad.
Yeah, Bobby.
I know you're watching this.
Yeah, I've been having to pay him every month, but
yeah.
It's amazing what people will do for a 10% discount.
Yeah. No, it's cool though, man. I really like this area and stuff, and I feel like I need to get out more and experience like more Kentucky, because we're in Kentucky, but we're also like almost in Ohio.
No,
I know that's offensive, but I'd feel like I need to go more south into Kentucky and really experience it, because I only stayed in Michigan when I was up there, and I kind of knew my little area in Michigan, but even up there, I didn't really explore that much.
I feel like the further you go down into Kentucky, the more like Midland, Michigan it will get. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah,
how similar is this area to Midland?
What's interesting about like here versus in Michigan, so like we have like bigger areas, and then there will be like 20 or 30 minutes in between those bigger areas.
Yeah.
And in between those areas is all like fields and, like family land that people have probably had for a while, farms and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, here it's like I could be in one town, like we're in Hebron right now. I drive 3-4 minutes, I'm in Burlington, and then another 3-4 minutes, I'm in Florence.
Yeah.
It's weird. You can go through like 20 or 30 different towns within an hour of driving.
Yeah.
And it's not like that in Michigan. Everything is like spaced out.
So yeah, the further south you go in Kentucky, it would be more like
It would be more similar
or the
to
more
that.
central Ohio you go. That's probably like that kind of where Gabby is like there aren't towns super close to each other.
Yeah,
out in
it's a
Lebanon.
little closer. Like, yeah, I don't even know what you'd call like the population here in Hebron because it's so like such a small area.
pretty dense.
Like in Midland, it was like 47,000 or something. So it was a decent sized town for what it was. But
But now you got the family considering. You guys are looking at land?
my dad is.
You guys really like Kentucky.
My dad is heavily considering buying some land.
I know. I love like.
I mean, it is the greatest state. So.
Yeah, it is.
The big thing is my mom's got like 4 or 5 years left before she can retire.
Yeah.
And
Marv doesn't though.
yeah, that's true. Marv doesn't.
Come on down, Marv.
And my little brother is like so rooted in, I don't know. My little brother is like closer with a lot of my dad's friends and stuff than like what we were, and so he sees them all the time. He's an old soul, Colton is, and he just doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, their house is paid for. They could just let him like rent it from them.
Yeah.
And we could build barn
No, I
dominiums
think
down here.
I think Marv and your mom are going to move down here. I really do. And
I do too.
I love having your dad. So when we go racing, a lot of times your Todd's dad Marv meets us, and yeah, it's cool. I think he came for the first race with us just to see like who his son was hanging out with. And then like after that, he's like, "I'm going with the boys every time."
Yeah. No, my dad's always like known my respect and interest in your guys' company, and I grew up in a house where my parents are pretty religious, and they always knew that you guys were Christian based and really respected that about you guys. So I think like they trusted you. My mom was like, if he's gonna go work at a race car shop, I want it to be that one.
Yeah, cool.
And so. Yeah, no, they love it down here. I think they'll probably be here eventually.
Yeah, that's cool. So when you were in Michigan, and so we kind of talked about what got you into drag racing, but what got you into small tire drag racing? Like what around where you were at? Like what made you be like, you know what, I'm gonna buy a '63 Nova that's pretty nice and cut it to where there's nothing of it left?
Well, that was really stupid on my part. Yeah, I gave like $13,000 for that car, and it was like this little cream puff, like nice Nova. And I didn't think it was gonna go to the point that it is. I really should have bought like a $4,000 or $5,000 shell with a title and did it that way, but I didn't know at the time. And I ended up I'm like, man, I really want to do more than an 850 in this car. Well, really, the way to do that is cut the floor out, put the body on top of it, and then put the floor pans back in. That's really the correct way to do it.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget taking that cutoff disc and slicing through there and hearing the floor pan just bam on the garage floor. I'm like, we're locked in now, boys. I have to learn how to do this.
Yeah, things are happening.
Like it was worth something 10 minutes ago. It's no longer worth anything. So, I don't know. Like, really, the truth of it is I don't know. Big tires look dumb. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll say I don't like how they look on a car, and I don't know. Just for some reason, I was gravitated towards the small tire stuff. Really, what I really enjoyed the most, like watching, was like lights out and small tire radial racing. Obviously, like when I moved here, no prep is way more prevalent in this area than the radial stuff. So I've kind of slowly gotten into like that too, but
I wouldn't call it slowly, but yeah, you've gotten into it for sure.
Yeah, I said I'd never no prep my car because I liked it too much and I didn't want to wad it up, but I'm probably gonna have to go racing.
Yeah, so. Well, it's interesting how much like, we did go to Lights Out. Todd ended up coming down for a couple of days with me, and just. That was cool to.
Oh yeah, that was a bucket list race for me for a long time. So to get the opportunity, you asked me, I'm like, yep, I'm going.
Yeah, well, and I think too, like I love like when all of us go racing, but beyond that, even before like we actually raced any radial race that was close, we would take all the guys in the shop just because, there's a difference of. You're out there fabricating something, and like a lot of times a race car kind of looks like a tube rack, or you're just building a rear end housing or whatever, and like you forget like what this stuff actually does. And I think like to do this kind of stuff, you have to have a real healthy respect for where it's going to go and like how fast it's going to go. And like, you know, and that's how we, you know, we learn and we get better and, you know, we solve problems, right? Like that is our job. We continually solve problems to make our product better, to make our, you know, customers better, all that stuff.
No, it's cool, like going to events like that and seeing, you know, cars that, you know, I've had the chance to work on go and work how they should.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, it's really cool.
What'd you like most about Lights Out?
Probably watching Pevlar go down on his new turbo kit. I was like, man, I did that turbo kit. that was really cool. I was hoping to see McCain's there too.
Yeah.
We just did that 4-link setup and that. Yeah, I don't know. It was warm and
it was warm.
It was warm and the weather's nice. It's like, what else can you ask for? You're at the racetrack and the weather's nice. That's one of my favorite things. In the world.
Well, I thought when we went, like the way I pitched it to Todd, I was like, hey, we're gonna go down there. Mike Farmer's racing the Bad Penny. He just needs a little bit of help. Like, it'd be a pretty low key weekend. We'll go down there, just kind of in and out, and we'll watch him racing. And it was not like that. I feel like we worked from the time that we got there to when we left. Like we were.
Actually, that might have been my favorite part when we were working on that mount and that trailer. I was like, man, we're at the racetrack and we're still working. This is how it goes.
Well, and like, you know, the no prep stuff, like I love no prep, but like, and people think like that there's a lot of money in no prep.
Yeah.
They are very wrong. Like you go to a radial race, it's a different level, you know, of stuff. And, you know, you got really like pretty much professional, not all of them, but there's a lot of professional crews, you know, people like the trailer we were working out of was one of our customers, and you know, Terry's awesome. It's an old Top Fuel semi. So like there's a Dynasty in there. There's a whole like fab area. Like we had to fabricate this thing. Sick. And it's like, you know, I mean, at some points I'm like, dang, Terry's more prepared than our shop, you know?
Yeah. That was awesome, man. Like any tool I needed, he had in his drawer.
Yeah,
like,
Terry's awesome.
In a pinch, we did all right for what we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, like if you wadded one up and you had Terry's trailer and some tubing, you could be racing the next day.
Yeah, the only thing we would have needed was a bender, but I mean,
Terry probably had one up.
We could have just like cut them and notched them. You got a main hoop that's made out of 4 pieces.
But no, it's cool to, you know, I love you know, getting to experience that with you. And I remember my first time going to Lights Out and seeing what it was like. And the first time that Brad and I went to Lights Out, we drove down there, just him and I. And it was like a week after our buddy Jack died. And like that was 7 or 8 years ago. I forget what Lights Out it was. But we walked in, pulled in, parked in the grass. Nobody there knew who we were. And we met Martin Conley there. And Martin drove us around and you know, introduced us to people. And man, it was, you know. So like if you have a business, it's just a side thing. It's like, if you want to be involved with something, like if you make race car parts or you make whatever, insert what you do. If you use the race car example, if you don't go to the racetrack and be a part of the community, you're missing it. You know, like that's like now, like going to that race, like the way that we're received is so different, you know, from the first time and all the work that's been put in between there.
Yeah. And I think people like really appreciate this about you guys. Like you're approachable. Like you take the time to talk to people, and like you said, going to the racetrack and letting people put a face to a name, I think really is worth more than what people would think it is.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's like, it was cool to go down there and see people recognize you.
Yeah, that was funny too.
Yeah, I love that. Like going out, like, so if you guys see us out, like we do, man, I mean, it doesn't work out all the time, but we do try to, you know, talk to you can't get to everyone, but we try to be, like Todd saying, approachable. But if you recognize one of the boys, like say hi to them, right? Like I love that when people come up and be like, oh, Ricky, there you are, dude. Like, or you see Dalton, you see Brian, or, you know, any of the guys, man. It makes them, it's just really cool. I love that.
One of the last races last year, somebody came up and said, you really are that short. I see you on there. Like, yeah.
Dude, I had a guy wait for me outside of a porta potty.
Well, that's strange.
He's like, you Promod Todd? And I was like, how long are you standing out here? Man, it was goofy.
I can't believe someone said that
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
the camera
rough.
doesn't add any height.
You really are that short.
It's a real deal.
So
raw.
let's make an asterisk to that. Like, we are super approachable, but like, think about what you're gonna say
No,
first.
say whatever you want.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's so funny.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, it was one of the MPK races. That one that was like in the Amish county, like.
Oh, the one we won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that one.
That was a good day.
Yeah, that was a good day.
It was a real
Oh
good
dang,
day.
my lights are going out. It's 5 o'clock. Keep going.
So now you've been here for a year, and you have worked on your car some here and there.
A little bit, not as much as I should.
Yeah. So tell the people about what is your car? I mean, I know we've kind of danced around it, but what is it?
It's a '63 Chevy 2, a hardtop car that I really, once I cut the floors out of, I'm like, if we're doing this, like, we're gonna do it in a way that even if I can't afford to race it, it's still worth something to somebody.
Yeah.
And so I built it to be Ultra Street legal. And so, I mean, it had factory frame rails in it. It's still on leafs. Of course, they changed the rule right after I got my leafs in it. So now they allow a traditional 4-link. But, I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's just a 25.3 with a Smith Racecraft bolt-on subframe.
Yeah.
And obviously a 10-soldier 9-inch in it. And it's a 6-liter LS with a Promod 88 on it.
Yeah, he's got the Promod 88 off of our white car, so it should run good.
My girlfriend's dad always is like, what's the first word of that? How big's that turbo? And I'm like, it's an 88. And he's like, a what 88? I'm like, Promod 88. I hate that term.
But we're trying to convince Todd to do the drag and drive stuff with it because he says he's going to drive it every day. So
The convincing's already done. Like,
I was gonna say that should be easy. Isn't that what you've said?
Yeah, no, I plan on doing that.
That would be
'cause
sick.
You know, it's like
Is it gonna have back seats?
no.
No,
they have a passenger seat though, Rick.
It will have a
can just-
passenger seat.
that'd be
And
cool.
actually, the passenger seat would be perfect for a short king.
Oh, perfect.
Because
I wouldn't need a
the
booster.
air-to-water intercooler is right down
There
where
we
your
go.
feet would go.
Oh, I got all the room.
So you'll have plenty of room in there.
Yeah.
When Todd gets his car done and we do the drag and drive, you should take
That would
Rick.
be sick.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Just, I don't know. I'm trying to talk Brian into it because Brian could drive his Mustang
Yeah,
on
he
a
could.
drag and drive.
Yeah.
And so if we could get some people all rallied together to go on it, I think it would be a great Great time.
I promise you, if you get your car done, it wouldn't be hard. And we got Brad Arnold's car obviously fits that really, really well.
Yeah.
And Heath really wants to do some drag and drive stuff too with that other that 4-door Impala he's got. He just wants to do it with a nitrous engine, which Heath, we should do it with something else. I know you love the nitrous engine, but because I don't want to be working on it the whole time.
Yeah. No, I really do want to do some of the drag and drive stuff. I feel like you have to do it at least once. Like if you truly are into drag racing, I feel you got to do it at least once.
Yeah.
And so that's my goal. I don't know. My car doesn't it's not going to be competitive and small tire no prep. There's just it's not.
Yeah, but it's a really good true street car.
Yeah, no, it'd do fine in True Street, but you're going to a football game. You want to watch the varsity. You don't care about JB.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we get the rule debate.
I mean, I don't know.
I get it.
Like everybody wants to run in the top class, and that's just not feasible for me. Like I'm not gonna do that because I don't have the pocket. I live in a camper right now, so I have other obligations that are more important to me.
Hey, bud, you own 2 houses.
Technically, I do.
Yeah.
Depending on how you look at it, you're balling.
Yeah. But no, I think that's what my car would fit better. If I was gonna try and do a dedicated small tire no prep car, it would not have leaf springs in it. I know that they work, but I don't think they're as consistent is kind of what I've heard from other people.
Well, on the radial stuff, that like Mike and Sam's cars leaf spring, and the thing with the radial is you get, the track does vary some, but there's not near the variance of what you experience at a small tire no prep deal, and that's. But leaf springs can be good, but not where if you take small tire no prep, just that in general, how fast we're going now. It's just it's a completely different ball game. Like look what we're doing to what is a competitive car.
Yeah.
Right. Like look how much we've chopped that thing up just to be more competitive.
Yeah.
Like
there's just a lot of sacrifices that you have to make to run at that level with the car itself that I'm not willing to make. Like I want my car to still be a 63 Nova. So like it'll have carpet in it. It's got a factory headliner in it. It's going to have all the factory door panels. If I would have planned to do a small tire no prep from the get-go, it's like obviously I would have went and taken out all the double layers. There's some things that would have been moved around differently. Probably wouldn't have had the Smith Racecraft front clip on it. I would have moved the motor back. Like there's a lot of things that should have been changed, but I didn't know what I was doing when I built that thing. I've always said from the get-go, I just wanted to go 490s and be able to drive it to dinner. Like,
yeah, and you're going to make, I think that's really important though with like, if, people that are in a car build, like, the average person, when you're building a car, it takes you a while to put it together, right? Like if you're doing the work yourself and
it should have been done a long time ago. I'll admit that I've been slacking.
Yeah. But I mean, it is, but what happens is people like, they get distracted and they're like, oh, like your deal, like we've talked about a few times, you're like, man, I just want to go ahead and 4-link it. It's like, don't, man, just get it done. So like a lot of times people get in this never ending build because they're like, oh, I'd rather do that. And then they cut the car back apart. And then they keep doing that over and over again. And then the car never gets done where, I think if you talk to most drag racing enthusiasts, I think most people feel a lot like you, like they want like a car that they can drive. It still is a car, and they want to do the drag and drive stuff. I think that's why you're seeing that become more popular. It's just because I think, the average person, it appeals more. It's all, I kind of think of the drag and drive almost like a motocross race versus a hair scramble. Like when I would go motocross racing, I would be there, all day, but we might just do a couple motos and, you go home. Well, like you do a hair scramble, you're on the bike for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
You get to ride all day, where like that's kind of what the drag and drive is. It's like it's more of an experience, right? And the racing is almost not as much, right? Yeah.
I mean, obviously like you and Brad have both, raced no prep stuff. You've raced radial stuff. And it's like Brad will still tell you his favorite racing event is doing the drag and drive stuff with Brad Arnold. Like he said it's a great time. It's a little bit more laid back. And I don't know, I feel like I need to do it.
Yeah.
And
if you get like, I always say that the Brad's drag and drive experiences are way different than the rest of the world. When they did Sick Week, not this year, but last year, they did it. It was just the two of them and they weren't like hanging out with anybody, that just the two of them doing it. I know they made friends when they were there, but like those boys, man, they would make a pass. They'd load up the old Buick. They'd go down. They were like at dinner at a nice place at 7, drinking some beer. And then they'd be like they'd get to the hotel at like 9, get a whole night's sleep. Like, because they're both mechanics. So they're both like really good at that.
Yeah.
And,
I feel like that's how it would go for you and I, Todd.
Yeah. Well, you would have the Brads with you. So
exactly. Yeah.
We won't show that on camera. It's just us.
We'll make it look like we're doing everything. But yeah, no, I mean, that is one thing I have thought about. It's like, if I'm going on a drag and drive, I'm probably going to have one of the two Brads somewhere around me. And that's a great thing to have in your pocket.
No.
Like, Brad, here's the laptop. Do something.
Make me not suck. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think all of us going on a drag and drive, taking the chicks, just all of us going like big thing, like bring Liv, like that would be tight to do that for a week. Like
I think my chick will be driving her own car.
Yeah, she doesn't need you.
Yeah, she don't need me.
I don't know if I want to be. I so badly want to take the van and have, if it's Liv or another passenger driving, I want the door. Side door open, so I want to get some really sick like rolling shots.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say build a drag and drive car out of it.
Out of the van? I mean, I'll enter it. The transmission slips a lot, but I mean, I can make a lick.
No, we could cut the floors out of that.
Yeah, Todd's good at cutting the floors out of expensive things.
Yeah. We could do like a little mid-engine build on
Nah,
yours.
I
You ever
just
see
wanna-
that? Like on the
I
old
just
like
wanna get some-
Volkswagen vans?
I do, when we go, what race was that? Up in Norwalk, I think. There's some sick, like, I don't know what classes they run or whatever, but those vans.
Oh, yeah.
There's some sick drag racing or
There's
drag,
been a
Yeah,
couple Astro vans.
It was the Blastro.
the Blast.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's like I think it might be mid-engine.
The engine was where the slide
Yeah.
door, there was a big engine there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that
That's
do
pretty
that.
sick.
Yeah, Rick was like, that guy, he's my people.
Yeah.
We should do that for you, Rick.
not in the blue van, but
You
maybe
did an
another
Astro
van.
van.
Oh, that
someday.
thing would look sick, sitting like 3-4 inches off the ground with a spindle mount wheel tucked up
Completely
inside
go
of
a different
it.
route with it. Than
That's
I planned.
funny.
Rick's like crawling through the jungle gym to get in his van. We can put you as far back as you want.
Yeah,
in that
after we
thing.
went,
I need to be further up. What you
I
talking
mean,
about?
I think
can't be-
Rick, this is a great time to transition to this. We really should talk about what happened on the go-kart track.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting to mention. You talking about all these Michigan things and all the good times up
Goodness.
there. You sharing. I remember you sharing how much you guys race up on ice and go karts and hyped this thing for months. And I just watched your ego go from like, Brad, I'm gonna beat Brad, I'm gonna smoke everybody, to like the week of being like, I never said any of this stuff. I don't know what's gonna happen. And then
All right, I
we
might
get
have-
there and you couldn't even get close to me. I'm just
I
the
might have
media
been
guy.
a little bit like. To be fair, you guys hyped him up like he was an F1
I didn't
racer.
hype. I had never seen Brad.
Like, well, Jason and Jaybird were like, "You should see him, dude.
Fair.
He's nuts on a go kart." And I was like, "We're going to a track. Like, like everybody says they're that fast on a track. Like, how fast are you really?" I didn't feel like I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna blow the doors off Brad and beat him." I might have joked around a little bit, but there were definitely words put in my mouth. Things I did
know.
not say.
Well, I will say that. So, like, Brad and I, when we raced go-karts, so to fill everybody in, the other day we had a shop day. We all went and rode go-karts. We rented the track. It was awesome.
Good time.
It was really fun.
Awesome.
And Brad is really good at go-karts because one thing, he is a really good driver and he's really light. He weighs like 130 pounds. So that's two really great things.
It's 145.
But what I thought about is like anytime Brad normally beats me, but it's always on the electric carts, and they had switched them to the gas. So I think that Brad's a lot better electric cart.
Well, he spent the last 2 years driving a hybrid.
Yeah,
so,
now he's got a Prius.
Got
So,
that on
yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I mean, when we maybe you could insert some of those. Well, we have some clips.
Yeah, I got some GoPro clips.
Yeah, so,
And I'll insert the time slip, the one where I won with the fastest.
Do you
lap.
have the time slip?
I don't.
I
no.
know what they were.
Do you have a picture of it?
I don't have
Because there's
no
some
picture of it.
people.
Well, while he's looking
there's some
at
people
that-
talking crap on Facebook.
Yeah.
I just want to make an official call out.
Well, while
Should I
he's
not?
looking for that, I mean, I can bring it up. What's it like getting beat every race you've ever raced against me? Always coming up right behind me in danger wheel.
Oh
and
yeah,
go-karting.
D-Day. It's getting
That has to
huge.
hurt, right? Because I don't care about cars. I'm not
It does. Rick's beat me in foot races.
oh yeah, thank you for every single race
I'll
you've
be
ever
honest, I
lined
mean,
up
he-
with me.
He's beat me in foot races. He's beat me on the tricycles. He's beat me on the go karts. He'd probably
Dang.
beat me on the 110.
I'll drive your car for the drag and drive if you want me to.
Yeah, we could do that.
We're gonna have to move. So we did when we.
He was gonna make a hurtful comment. And he stopped
No,
himself.
you can scoot that seat up.
Yeah. No, Rick beat me too. I will
Yeah.
say I won a couple, but Rick, if we go by fastest lap time, Rick definitely. So this was the results. We don't even have Todd listed on here because we only got top three.
All Kentucky.
I was
Brad,
fourth.
Yeah, Brad went 24.2. Ricky went 24.27, and I went 24.3. So we were all right there, and it was.
I went 24.6.
Was it?
It was 24.6 was my best time of the day.
Okay.
But this is what cracked me up is there were some people locally on Facebook talking a bunch of smack about their go-kart times, and they were running almost 27 seconds.
Oh, geez. They weren't even in the
were
ballpark.
I'm making an official call out.
Yeah.
Ben Stricker and Rob Mounts. You guys can get it from any of the Tin Soldier boys on the
Bring
go-kart
your
track.
money, please.
Yeah.
I messaged Ben. I said, "You want to go race at full throttle for 500?" He's like, "No."
They
They were talking crap about 27-second
Oh
lap
my,
times.
that's embarrassing.
Like 26.8. And I'm like, wow, like even our slowest, Brian was our slowest, and Brian was going like low 26s.
And that's a big
Like,
boy. That's
yeah.
a big boy in a car.
Stevie might have been under 26.5, and they were going 26.8 talking crap on Facebook.
They took it to Facebook.
Yeah.
Dang.
Funny.
I love you guys, but you shouldn't go to Facebook at those times.
Yeah, dang. But no, Todd did. I mean, the moral of the story is Todd said Michigan was coming in hot. And
We really represent it for Kentucky.
yeah, we did. Kentucky boys could drive go-karts.
Yeah.
That is one thing I will say is like I've known some people that were like really proud to be from Michigan, but it is nothing like the people that are proud to be from Kentucky. Like it's weird. It's a whole different feel. I feel like they just live. They live in Michigan, and you live. Live in Kentucky.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, Kentucky's the best. I love it here. I mean, I haven't traveled near the amount that Rick has, but just traveling a little bit, and I think that I really like Tennessee. I'm excited to go to Texas and try that out. But yeah,
I've never been to Texas either. Dude.
I've never been to Texas, so. I think Texans are real proud too. It seems like like they're real like we're from Texas.
Yeah.
We're the best.
I've never been there, but I would agree with you. From afar, it looks like it might be that way.
Yeah. I think you got to be proud of where you're from and where you what I mean. Like I think that's important. So, what's your favorite thing about Kentucky so far? Can't say fried chicken either.
We did have a KFC in Michigan. I really like that it's warmer. Like, there's certain days, where it's colder than what it is in Michigan. Because, I mean, we're only 5.5 hours south of where I was. So it's not a drastic change. But, like, through the fall time and, like, the winter time, it's pretty consistently 10 degrees warmer here than what it was for me up there.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it'll actually be the opposite. It'll be colder here. But,
Does it feel southern at all here? Like, we're in northern Kentucky, but does it feel like...
not really
Yeah.
to me. Which
I wouldn't think.
I've made that statement before, and there's people that are like, "We're the South,"
Nah.
and I'm like,
Hardly.
well,
Even southern
I can
Kentucky.
see Cincinnati from here.
Yeah.
Like,
Even way down in Kentucky, that's, kind of the South.
yeah, I feel like you get to like Georgia,
Yeah,
Alabama,
that's the
you're
South.
in the South.
Yeah.
But there's certain people that like get offended at that.
Yeah.
Up here, they're like, "Oh no, we're the South." And I'm like, all right.
Hardly.
Well, I think it's funny like how fast like if you drive like to pick on Martin Conley, Martin's probably like 2.5 hours from here, and the way Martin talks is completely different.
Well,
than the
yeah.
way
You don't
it's-
have to go too far till
Dude,
you
I
get
want
there.
him to do an audio book or something.
Can you
Like,
understand anything that he says?
I can understand
Okay.
it. Yeah. No, I really like listening.
You
to
say
him
things
talk.
funny, honestly.
Yeah, Jaybird always makes fun of me because I'll be like, "Oh, like that band's going on tour," and he's like, "Tour,
You almost-
tour."
you
Like
almost
it's like
sound-
sewer with an S.
You
Or
almost
sewer
sound
with a T.
Canadian.
I
little
was
bit.
2 hours from Canada, so
And you never went.
I never went.
Crazy.
Yeah, I've been to Canada once.
Never got my passport. Never went. Just I stayed in Michigan. That's what it was.
Michigan and Kentucky
Yep.
so far.
So what's all right? So you didn't even tell. I guess your favorite thing you said was that it's warmer. All right. Well,
I do like that. There's more racing down here. There wasn't as much in my area up there. And actually, to go back to my favorite part of Lights Out, I think my favorite part of going to any drag race is the smell. When you're at the starting line and you smell the fuel, like, man, I can just smell Q16 just. And I love it. That's probably my favorite part. Like when I get there and I smell
it's F16O now. Todd.
Sorry. All right, F16.
Official sponsor
Yeah.
for today's episode.
No, I think when I get there, it's like I'm traveling to the racetrack and I'm excited to finally get there. And I walk up to the starting line and there's like the smell of a burnout and the smell of the fuel. It's like today's gonna be a good day.
Yeah. I like prep races too because I really like the smell of the prep. It's really
You can smell it?
I can't smell a lot, but yeah, I can smell that prep. It's awesome.
You have to put salt on it.
Yeah, that methanol. I gotta be. It's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So what's and then what's your favorite thing to work on here? What's your favorite thing to do?
Cars. That's like, I mean, I go over and help like Dalton or Brian get caught up on their parts because we need it. But really, I'd prefer to stay on cars. Yeah, that's my favorite thing. I know a lot of people don't like that portion of it, but I really enjoy fitting tubes in a or I almost said chassis and cage at once.
It's
In a cage. I like fitting bars in a cage or like doing turbo kits and exhaust work and stuff like that. That's my favorite.
yeah.
There's something so satisfying. Like you finish a turbo kit and you finally get it all put back on there. It's like, that looks sick.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of times people ask like why aren't you taking on any car work, and it's back to that is like we have so many great customers that we already have a relationship with, and really it's just Todd and Jay that work on cars, and a lot of times Todd's week is really 75% parts just because we're trying to get caught up. So it's just we don't have time to take on a lot when it comes to that. Like, everything that we have now is we're just trying to work it in to be able to finish it up. And, then we work on, we got Charlie stuff and all that. It's just, there's not enough. When you get into building cars, it's a big commitment. It's a
even commitment. Some of the like smaller jobs are still equally big of a commitment,
Well, that's like a lot of, if you're just getting into the hobby or even if you've been in it for a while and you've never had a car built by somebody, it's and you've watched this, it's, it comes in for one thing and then you get into it and you're like, crap, man, like this isn't going to work. We're going to have to do this. Like, so it's always this constant thing of like, you're planning for one thing and then it's actually something else. So your schedule goes to crap real fast. And it's, you'll
always be like, oh, this one's coming in tomorrow. It's just a turbo kit. And I'm like, is it really just a turbo kit?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not your fault. It's like people, like, I feel like once they drop the car off, like 20 more things come in their mind. Like, oh, while it's there, I'll have them do this. And then I'll have them do this. And before long, it's been here for a little bit of time because we're like trying to get everything done that they've added.
Yeah. Well, and then it pushes back, the next person, and like that's what a lot of chassis shops do get bad names for that. But thankfully now it's like we have this small customer base that we work on, so it's our stuff's pretty flexible. Beyond if we got a car that's coming in for a couple, like we got Ducky's Blue Mustang here just for some bullhorns, a couple small things just to keep it competitive, right? Yeah. I really like that. I like that part of it of like, this is already a really nice car that, that we have something to do with. We're going to do a couple little things to make it better. And, I really like that.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it is a little nerve wracking working around really nice stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So, like,
my dad broke me in on that because this car's always been really nice. So it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of used to like, it's got nice paint. Don't do this, don't do that. Yeah. And, it does get nerve wracking when you really have to like cut on it or something, but
there's been a couple of them that I was like terrified to work on, and then
you were even terrified of Dave Fiskus's car after he wrecked it.
I didn't know if they were gonna put that in here today, but Dave's car when it was here at the beginning, I was like, I'm not walking within 20 foot of that thing, and I ended up doing a downpipe for it, a stainless downpipe, and so I like kind of got used to working on it a little bit, but then after he hit the wall, I was like, man, I'll work on this. Like, anything I'm going to do to it probably isn't going to be that bad.
Yeah, well, it's getting ready to come back nice, so yeah, we'll probably have it.
Oh, it is coming back?
Yeah, just for a couple of things, just to find, like after it gets, so it'll get picked up for paint, then it'll go to the wiring guy. They'll put all the wiring back in it, and then Dave put the motor and everything in it, and then Brad would check the setup, stuff like that. We'll check the front end and do all that. So just a couple, hopefully, my age-old saying, just a couple days.
Yeah. That's Jason's favorite saying.
Yeah, I try to be eternally optimistic, but sometimes that works great for us, and sometimes it's definitely not a great thing. It's one of my personality flaws.
I love watching it though, because it's like you and Brad like really play off each other. It's so fun to watch sometimes, because you'll throw this like idea that, I mean, we probably could make it happen, but then Brad comes in and he's like, let's think realistically here. And it's funny to watch you two interact. It really
Good
is like
yin and yang.
it
Good
really is a
balance.
great combo.
Yeah, we're in the middle of that right now.
Yeah.
We're getting to Texas.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, Brad. I don't know if Brad wants to go, but you and I, we're going.
Yeah, Brad just doesn't want to drive, So it is a long drive, but yeah, you've been helping with Charlie. You've been working at night on that and getting.
Yeah.
I mean, the cage is pretty much done, and we are actively trying to make it to Small Tire Gangsters, whether that happens or not.
What's today's date? It's the 27th.
Yeah, so we got basically 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To tin the car out, and so it's definitely possible whether it all clicks into place or not. I got Gash is coming up next week to put the wiring back in it. He was just texting me about what day he's going to be here, and so we'll see. Brad's kind of opinion on it, which I think is a good one, is if the car's done, it runs and drives, and we feel confident about loading it in the trailer, and we're going to go down there and win some money, we'll go. If we don't think that we're going to go down there and win, we're not going, right? Yeah. Which I think, back to the small tire stuff, and I mean, Todd can speak to this. I mean, every time we leave, we think we can win. Yeah.
What's the point of going if you don't think that?
Yeah.
You're going to spend all the money and waste your time for the weekend just to, go down and get it put out second round or something. Yeah. What's the point of that? Yeah. I could be at home on my couch.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about going racing? When we all go.
Well, winning, obviously.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to be a part of the team for a couple NPK wins. I did cheat on you a little bit and go to War in the Woods for the last one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, winning's pretty awesome.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Everybody hanging out, after each round, No Prep Kings Bowling Green that was one of, my highlights going racing of last year. It's because, seeing you, pull back from winning that, and it's it looked like a coal train just spraying nitrous out of the top. You were purging it, and everybody's like, let's go. We had Modelo's ready. It was a good time.
Yeah. And I hope, if you race, I hope you get those experiences, right? I go back. I'm so thankful to have Ricky, because there's a lot of things that I miss being in the driver's seat, but it's so awesome to go back and look at those memories. I just watched Bowling Green the other day. Brixton wanted to watch Racecars, so we watched that one. And, I love getting to do it with all you guys. Racing wouldn't be, I am competitive. And you, both of you guys know that. I want to win, right? But I would rather us all go there together than anything. I love that part of it, just hanging out and the memories that are made, and just, watching everybody get hyped on the starting line and be together is, dude, that's, those are the things when you get to the end of your life that, when you're kind of sitting on your rocking chair looking back on, those are the stories that you get to tell, which is, I love listening to the stories that my dad tells about when he was young racing, so, I can't wait to do that.
We definitely roll as a team, and not just our coworkers team. There's a whole group of other people that when we go to the track, they're going to be there. It's it's a big family when we go to the track, and that's cool.
Yeah, we're definitely probably one of the loudest.
This year we'll have a T-shirt launcher.
Bowling Green, man, there was people on their way back on the return road, stopping and watching, or maybe they were just trying to not hit us because we were foot racing the road. But man, you and Nick Green were skateboarding, and we were betting on all sorts of stuff.
Event.
Yeah. So if you're at the track, come say hi to us, hang out with us. We have an exceedingly good time. It's because at the end of the day, if we don't why do it if it's not fun? And it's a whole experience, right? It's, if I think if we lose, we're just as approachable as if we win. And, I love watching Nick and Rick out there skating, and then the kids and foot races, and you just never know what's going to happen. It's awesome.
I think the foot race night and the skate night was after That was
We
the
lost.
second day of bowl.
Yeah.
And we just still had a good time.
Yeah,
you know?
we
Yeah.
screwed up. We broke the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because we celebrated too early the night before.
Yeah, we broke the car. Yeah. Oh well, it happens like
Good
that.
times.
Good times. All right, Todd, what you got any closing thoughts?
Not really.
I just love that this entire episode, Charlie's been sitting on Jason's
Yeah.
lap.
Yeah,
Well, I had to keep her off from my shirt. I didn't want to get
Oh,
black.
what is that shirt? Is that a fresh new white J-Bo? Oh, that thing's sick.
Yeah. I didn't want to get black trelly hair on my fresh white shirt.
Yeah.
So
our buddy J-Bo, he's stepped into the start design and stuff. So if you see our apparel getting better, it's because of J-Bo. We actually have this whole idea board that he created. So we're gonna have fresh T-shirts for like the next 2 years.
And I'm going to be shooting them out of a cannon for our events.
Yeah,
dude, we should get one of those big slingshots.
Nope,
Where, like,
I want a cannon.
well, cannon, but and a slingshot where like, you got 2 people holding it and then one person springs back.
Yeah, I guess that could be a...
That'd be sick.
Well, I'm
between-
waiting on
in
Rick
between
to
load.
send me which one he wants because we had, and again, we said it before, we'll say it again. Thank you guys for doing the giveaway stuff with us. It was an incredible month, and because of that, Rick is ordering a T-shirt cannon.
Finally. Been requesting this since I first got on.
Yeah,
Nick and I got big ideas.
It's gonna be sweet.
So yeah, we are getting. I'm just waiting on Rick to pick out which one he wants, and we're ordering it. So that'll be tight. We're gonna have a bunch of new T-shirt designs and stuff, and yeah, someone one of our sponsors messaged me earlier. It was actually Fuel Factory. They asked what our event calendar looked like for the year. I'm like, man, I don't even know.
Not sure yet.
Yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. So yeah, but nothing else.
Trying to think of something. I
You
feel
gotta
like
think-
I think I got it all out.
You should thank your mom and dad. I think that's a great idea.
Thanks, Mom.
You've been waiting for this. You said you were excited to
I was
to get your
excited to
episode.
do it, but then I got on here. I was like, man, I'm blanking out. I don't know what to say. Like, it's a little nerve wracking.
Yeah,
So,
You think this feels nerve-wracking? I feel like we're just hanging.
it does feel like that. Also, I don't know why I was more nervous to do this than any other video. Like it's the same thing, but
I guess this video will come out after the video that comes out tonight, obviously. So
yeah,
I like doing videos with you. I think people like you.
I do too. I think people, yeah, and you do good. Like you're relatable, right? And you always bring you have a great vibe, man. Like I said, back to that, you have a great vibe. It's fun, and you keep it light, and like that's what works, right? And
yeah,
I think the art of having a good time, no matter what, you're very great at that.
Yeah, you definitely bring that to the group.
I just like to joke around a lot, and I think if you got some comedic relief in a YouTube video, that's like
it works
you
out.
get to laugh while you're watching and learning something. Like that's
They go good together.
it works out. So
Well, cool. Well, we'll wrap it up, and we just appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully, this little section or this podcast, pushes you into chasing your dreams. Right? If you want to take some chances, like worked out for Todd. So got him. He's got that sweet mustache, that hat that he stole from me, and
I did not steal this hat.
I'm just kidding. But we appreciate you guys as always. Just like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. Bye.